All right, Mr. Sarabi, you may continue.
Thank you, Judge, and I apologize. I'm going to have to remember where it was. Yes, that's right. We were talking about the defendant still being in Texas, being able to tell that he had a plan. So next thing in our timeline would be December 2nd, 2018, 10:37 a.m. The defendant tells his mother, I should be in Ohio around next Monday or Tuesday. Yeah. Wow, so you're moving back or are you coming to visit? Moving. So there is already a plan afoot. Notice he says to his mother next Monday or Tuesday. To the other guy, to Damian Cunningham, he says mid-December. What's your plan when you get here? My plan is what it was in North Carolina before I moved to Texas. He's got this plan that is not at all the plan. And again, by now you should know the defendant lies a lot. Even his parents were, that was a problem. Still apparently is a problem at this point. So good conversation. There we go. He's going back to Ohio. So December 2nd, later that same day, so this is about 2 hours later, at 12:34 p.m., there's a receipt from a Walmart in, I think it's Spring, Texas. And really the only important thing there is it's in Texas. The defendant is still in Texas on the 2nd. We know that he is still there. So, also this period of time, we see, this is the 6th actually, at 10:23 p.m., the defendant is planning to come home. Home is Ohio. Summer Colt lives in Ohio. He's saying next week. Now, keep in mind, it's the 6th. Next week would be the week that he's killing everybody. And I submit to you, ladies and gentlemen, he is already in Tarpon Springs with the Ivancics at this point. Because we see, well, this would actually be the next day, but it's the 7th. At 2:02 p.m., the defendant is sending pictures of his kids from the crime scene. This is the living room. That, I submit to you, is Rich Ivancic right there on the far right of that photograph, sitting in the armchair. And I want to say there's actually 3 of these photographs. I only put up one. They're all sent about the same time. But we can see exactly where this is. So that's the couch. You can see the floor. Obviously the rugs and things are gone and he's trashed the place in the interim. But you can see the outlet there on the back. You can see the corner there that would lead to the hallway. So we know where they are. We know when they are there. We know that he is there in 1954 when he's away by the afternoon of the 7th and probably the day before. So why is that interesting? That means that he was planning to kill these people since at least that point. And it looks like it was way back, at least on the 1st. But we know, so then he is there for a week with the intention of killing all 3 of these people, which will go to one of our aggravators. So then we move on. We see on the 11th, at 3:54 p.m., the defendant sending a Facebook message to his buddy that he is buying his new car. Oh, wait, I'm on the wrong one. That's right, we'll get there. He's asking, is he in Ohio? No, I got snowed in. Hold on, wait a second. When was the last time it snowed in Tarpon Springs? It hasn't. He's lying. Why is he lying? He doesn't want people to know where he is, because he knows what he's going to be doing there. I got snowed in is a lie. That sucks. Goes on to say, you alive? Yeah, again, so this is the 11th. 11th at 3:54. Yeah, I'm just in waiting. My friend's buying me a new car for Christmas come Friday. Friday is the 14th. His friend is buying him a new car. He is already seeding the plan of, I'm going to have a new car. Whose car is he going to have? He's got designs on Laura's 2013 Kia already. This is planning. This is intent. This is what he was there to do. While he's hanging out with them, smiling, eating their food, sleeping in their bed, enjoying their hospitality, he's telling his friend about how he's going to be buying a new car on Friday. So then he goes on to say, and then the next message is actually at 10:53 a.m. on the 12th. I haven't been in much contact. I've been busy in North Carolina. He's not in North Carolina. We know he's in Florida. I'm still waiting out a blizzard in West Virginia. So I can't even tell if he's claiming to be in West Virginia or North Carolina here. But and his daughter has the flu, and now there's more about the car. But like I said, I'm getting a new whip car come Friday. He gets a discount because he's a federal agent. You can see it's a continuation of my friends buying me a car. Noah Mather had said, "Oh man, that's an awesome friend," because that's kind of unbelievable. But anyway, you can see the intent. He's going to have that car. That's where his head's at. So then we get to, this one's a little smaller. He's talking to his mother. This is 3:01 p.m., or starts at 3:01 p.m. on the 12th. They're chatting. He says, where is it? Had to, 3:01 p.m. Had to wait out a blizzard over the weekend. Well, once again, he's in Florida on the 12th. There's no blizzard in Florida. Bella caught the flu, so I've been taking care of her nonstop. And Friday, 14th, my cousin that's in the Navy is buying me a new vehicle for Christmas, one that can withstand snow. He is telling these people that he's going to get a new car. So his mother, what state are you in if you had to wait out a blizzard? And she's not stupid. No, there was a blizzard that was going to be in my route. I'm still in Texas. He's not telling his mother that he went to visit the Ivancics. He's not telling his mother that he's in Florida, in Tarpon Springs. Why is that? Why is he telling her that he's still in Texas when we all know that he's in Florida? Because he knows what he's in Florida to do. He knows that after spending all this time with the Ivancics, he's going to bash them in the head with a hammer. So, and then they finish up the conversation. So just to reiterate, we see on the 14th at 10:12 a.m., he's having a conversation with Summer Colt. He sends this photograph, which is in our crime scene. You can see the same blanket. She is on that bed there. Obviously, the comforter is down. Sends her another photograph about the same time of the two kids in the crime scene. Not in Texas, not in a blizzard. You see the one from the crime scene. Obviously the exact same place, except by the time law enforcement gets there, he's knocked over a decorative Christmas tree and moved that chair. And here's another one. And this one, you can see, it's kind of hard to see in this, but it's that corner of the bed, because you can see the wood planking just a little bit, and you can see that the bottom of that piece of furniture. So it's the far, bottom of the bed corner that he's taking of his son, again, with that same blanket, in the room in the crime scene. So on the 14th, 10:32 a.m., 14th is probably the day that he kills the first two. He says, they're chatting. LOL, I'm sorry. I was up all night finishing the packing. I need a nap. Finishing the packing. Why? Why is he saying that? Because he's intending to finish what he came there to do and leave. All of this is showing where his head is at. He's putting off these people, telling them a story, so that they don't suspect when he does show up in Ohio, having killed 3 people, where he's been and what he's been doing. All right, so these are all CVS receipts. They're all within about half an hour of each other. I think the one on the far left was found in the house in one of those garbage bags. The two other ones were found in the Hyundai, probably came out of Laura's purse. But they show timestamps between 12:33 p.m. and 12:53 p.m. on the 14th in Brooksville, because she's shopping. And you heard Detective Anderson tell you that some video surveillance was recovered of Laura at that location. And we can trace her visit. This, again, I believe this came out of the Hyundai as well. One of the things that the defendant bagged up when he bagged up Laura's purse unceremoniously. You can see that she was at Chase Bank at 1:03 p.m., which on Mariner Boulevard, which again, Hernando County, not far from the CVS. We heard from Detective Anderson. I don't have a receipt to show you, but at 1:16 p.m. she was at Murphy's Market on Mariner Boulevard. She was at Cracker Barrel at 2:27 p.m. in Spring Hill. So you see, it's a shopping trip. And then the last place we know she's alive, Walgreens in Port Richey, which would be on the way back at 3:45 p.m. And again, Detective Anderson, and the one is just a magnification of the other. Detective Anderson told you that there was video surveillance recovered that he observed, and it was Laura with her purse and her 2013 Kia. So what is the defendant doing then? And I submit to you, the defendant has probably been waiting for the opportunity when he's got these people alone, and he knows that he's going to be able to get them one at a time. So sliding glass door will be there on the top. The couch that has been pulled across the opening is there on the left of this photograph. But he is bashing Richard Ivancic in the head. Right about there. Probably a carpet either on top of there or in close proximity. And we have some blood spots, some blood spatter. If we go to Richard Ivancic, you can see, you can't really see it in the faraway shot, but you can see from the faraway shot where it is on the wall. And then that close-up on the wall. Going back to this one real quick, we know that wasn't there. That the couch wasn't there because you can't get blood splatter behind the couch if the couch is there blocking it. So Richard Ivancic, he bashes in the head, and we'll talk about that in a little bit greater detail later. But we also have some blood spatter over here. It's interesting to me that this cabinet has empty shelves in it. It's clearly Laura was a collector of these figurines. And we found a whole bunch of these figurines that were broken, as if somebody had disturbed the furniture, perhaps in the fight that probably didn't go down the way the defendant wished it did. But the defendant just bagged these things up and put them in the Hyundai. So Laura gets home. Laura gets home and she goes around that corner, right in that doorway into the kitchen. And we see blood spatter here, which is consistent with that. And the defendant, so note, the defendant says he kills Richard at 1, he kills Laura at 2. Well, if it happened on the 15th, if we're missing a shopping trip, maybe. But I submit to you the evidence doesn't support that. The evidence supports that this was the 14th. And the defendant wasn't great on dates anyway. We know that different times in the confession he says, I left on the 22nd, and other times he says left on the 23rd. I don't know that he was exactly keeping up with the calendar days. But what we do know is once he killed Richard, we know that Laura was on that shopping trip for hours. It takes some time to get up to Hernando. She was clearly shopping in Hernando. It takes some time to get back. He is sitting there lying in wait to kill Laura. The plan is activated. If there was any hesitance on his part, once he swung the hammer the first time at Richard, it was gone. So now he is just sitting there waiting. Sitting there lying in wait for Laura, unsuspecting, to come home so that he can bash her in the head and kill her. And that's what he does. That's that portion of the wall right there. Some more blood spatter. Laura's purse. And if you're not looking at it close, it can almost look like a shadow, but right there on the bottom on the handle, you can see blood. And we get the purse from the Hyundai. Why? Because the defendant spent a decent amount of time kind of cleaning stuff up, put Laura's belongings. You can tell the purse is kind of empty. He went through it. We have her ID in the trash bag in the kitchen still. He went through it and emptied it out and dumped a bunch of the stuff in the trash bags, which is probably why some of the receipts are in the Hyundai, some of the receipts are in the house. And I submit to you, so there's this couch. This couch was clearly moved. I think the defendant even says it was moved. Where was it originally? There's that big empty space where the drop cloth was. I submit to you that this is probably Laura's blood, that at some point she went down towards the couch, on the couch, and that this blood is likely hers. So then what's he got to do? Then he drags Laura's body down the hallway, wrapped up in the carpet. He drags Richard's body down the hallway, wrapped up in the carpet. Takes time, takes energy, takes effort. So what he was planning to do all along was to hide his crime. And what's got to be on his mind now? Nick. Nick is on his mind. He knows Nick is coming. He knows Nick will be home. He is specifically moving them because remember, his plan is to bury the bodies in the front yard, to dig a hole and bury them. If he's not expecting Nick, he doesn't need to move them. But he knows Nick's coming. And Richard was in one spot, Laura's in another. It's going to be hard for Nick to miss. So again, planning, calculation, thought behind it. Mops the floor of the blood. He told us that. And I mean, you could tell from the mop that it had been used, but mops the floor in between. Again, effort. So then what do we got? 4:22 p.m. on the 14th, defendant tells Summer Colt, I meant I'll hold you, LOL, my bad, Daddy's tired. Why are you so sleepy? Daddy works out, honey, plus car shopping was today. Car shopping was today. And the kids were little rascals. Now, you can see that that's over a period of time. The first message there is 4:22, but he's continuing to, the next message is actually at 5:19. Car shopping was today. That's while I submit to you, Richard and Laura are lying there dead in the residence and before Nick returns. He's still planning. He's still scheming. He's still lying. And he's tired because he's been swinging the hammer an awful lot. Dragging bodies. Mopping. So Nick gets home. Now, does Nick get home the evening of the 14th? Does he get home sometime on the 15th? We really can't say. We know that there's a pizza box on December 14th at 4:55 p.m. It's got Nick's number on it. Now, does Nick get it? Does Nick bring it home? Unclear. But whenever Nick gets there, it actually take the defendant on his word, he probably doesn't kill Nick till early morning hours of the 16th. But in the meantime, 5:19 p.m. on the 14th, he's telling Summer Colt, so that would be 5:32 p.m., sorry. Yes, ma'am. Or she says, you got a new car. Yes, ma'am. It was time for the other one to go. I traded it in for a 2013 Kia. There it is. SUV thing. More room, better vehicle. I'll still get good mileage too. So I submit to you they're dead. He's now acquired the 2013 Kia. In his mind, it's his. He swung the hammer for it. And really, I'm not sure which is worse. If this was the day before, if he actually didn't kill them until the 15th, but he's already telling her that he got the vehicle, and we all know what he's going to do. But no, I submit to you at this point, he has killed Richard and Laura. And he has now ascended to ownership, in his mind, of the Kia vehicle. It'll be great for winter. And then he says, I'll send you a pic tomorrow when the sun's up, my dear. Yeah, it's got butt warmers and everything. And goes on to flirt with her, which the number of these girls he's flirting with is fairly numerous. During that conversation, so would be 6:23 p.m., he's sending pictures, and more flirting with Summer Colt, from the crime scene. So we know he's there. You can see the bathroom, in particular in that photograph, the easiest thing to identify that what didn't move is that heater. You can see the same sink, and you can see the towel rack in the reflection there. That's where he is. His mind's on trying to hit on girls while there's 2 dead bodies in the house, and while Nick is either there waiting for his death or he's waiting for Nick to come back to kill him. So 15th this will coordinate to about 1 a.m. This girl, Marissa, contacts him, looks like out of the blue. Hey, long time no talk, how have you been? I've been doing okay. I'm actually in the middle of packing for Ohio. Why is he packing for Ohio? Because he's killed the people. That's what he was there to do. Now he's in the process. He's going to be coming back.
Can we approach you in a...
Okay.
Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently I am so long-winded that people need a bathroom break. So that'll probably happen again. But we were talking about the 15th. We were at 1 a.m., which would be in between him killing Nick killing Richard and Laura, and when he kills Nick. He's still just interacting with people. Everything's great. Middle of packing for Ohio. So then we get to the top message there, comes in about 9:47 a.m. on the 15th. And what's interesting about that message is Bella's finally over being sick, so we can leave for Ohio this weekend. A couple of things to say about that. And if you've been paying attention to the messages as we've been going through them, and not to say the ones I've been highlighting, he's been saying that Bella has been sick for a while. What's interesting about that is the Walgreens receipt appears to be for children's medicine. And wouldn't it be just like this defendant when Laura's already been at CVS? CVS and Walgreens are almost interchangeable. To call her on her way back, make sure where she is, and ask her to pick up some children's medicine for his kid, so to delay her a little bit because he's lying in wait to kill her. But anyway, he's leaving for Ohio this weekend. Keep in mind, so the 15th would have been a Saturday, so he may be planning that his business will be done shortly. Domino's Pizza, the evening of the 15th, just before 7 p.m. Again, we have Nick's number on there. The defendant said that they got Domino's, they had a good time. I submit to you maybe they got Domino's twice, or they're hanging out for a long period of time. And if they're smoking marijuana, eating edibles, whatever they're doing, watching TV, that could have been a one last rousing celebration. But we know that there's Domino's on the 15th. Which is also, you'll notice the pattern is, once the defendant starts killing, and Richard and Laura aren't there to provide meals and make meals, now we're starting to see pizza and McDonald's, and the occasional Dunkin' Donuts. But pizza and McDonald's from this point forward. So he kills Nick. This couch wouldn't have been here. This couch would have been where the darker brown couch is. You see all that blood spatter. You see all the blood this defendant came out during this defendant's attack on his buddy. So yeah, I submit to you that that couch was here, in this room, right where that brown couch is, because we see blood spatter up there, painted over, blood spatter over there, and I decided not to bore you with all the blood spatter pictures again, but there was blood spatter all over this area. And even in other areas of the room, which again, we'll talk about that in a few minutes. So, blood spatter there, which front door is kind of towards the back, I believe. Blood there. All that would have been from Nick. So now everybody's dead. Now what do we see the defendant doing? On the 16th, 1:45 p.m. Now he's shopping. We get the receipt from the 2013 Kia when they catch up to it in Ohio, and we have him shopping with his two kids. What's he getting? He's getting the air fresheners. You see those three white things at the very edge of the conveyor belt. If you watch it, the video, you can tell a little bit better. But you see 1, 2 from the counter in the bathroom, and 1 on the counter in Nick's room. Why? For the smell. Because it smells. And the shirt he's wearing ends up in the laundry. Not quite yet, but it ends up in the laundry. Washed. He leaves it there, and it is recovered. So then, 1:52 p.m. on the 16th. It's the middle message. Hey, babe, a lot happened. I'm going to give you a call later. I'm still coming to Ohio, don't worry. Yeah, a lot happened. He killed 3 people. When will you be here? We'll see the rest of that conversation in a few minutes. He goes to McDonald's. This is actually 2:03 p.m. He goes to McDonald's. That McDonald's is right there in Tarpon Springs. Later that evening, 6:11 p.m., he says, Summer Colt, she's upset that he hasn't been answering. You need to be a better answer. He says, I'm sorry, babe. I've been busy all day. I'm in the process of selling a lot of my stuff. By the way, I already bought you Christmas stuff. So then he goes to GameStop, 7:07 p.m., and he's actually there for a period of time. And you can see, thanks, Shelby Nealy. We found that in the house. We're going to talk about some of that later. But there's a couple of reasons I'm going through all this way. But we got him there. We see him. Not going to play the long video for you. But he's there with his 2 kids, same shirt, selling all of Nick's video games, trading them in for more video games, because that's his priority, is video games. He's got to be doing something while he's in between burying bodies. So then he goes to McDonald's, 7:18 p.m. on US 19 in Palm Harbor. So then, and this is a little confusing because remember we go from the bottom up, and it's the way I did it, left to right. So now, the defendant says to Summer Colt, this is 10:26 p.m. on the 16th. Nick probably hasn't even been dead 24 hours yet. Hey, you, so I'm trying to get the kids to sleep, so I'm going to try and explain what's going on. Basically, long story short, I got robbed by my cousin while I was getting an oil change. He took my money. I had an envelope. He was also watching my kids and took off as soon as I got home. $6,325 gone. She's appropriately upset. I only had like $700 on me in my person. All lies. Oh, forgot the other side. It wasn't where I was staying in an envelope. It's interesting, he says, he's not telling her where he's staying. It was at where I was staying. She's like, why don't you put it in the bank? Reasonable question. He doesn't like banks. Keep going. So then we are still on the evening, about 10:27 on 17th. Yeah, that's what took all day yesterday. Did you get it back? Banks just take your money. You see the way the conversation is going. Also, I'm in the middle of selling my grandfather's coin collection. It's not his grandfather's coin collection. She asks, is it selling? Yeah, but because it's Sunday, not a lot of places were open. Remember, 16th is Sunday. So she's, again, appropriately, why you have $7,000. You should put it in a safe. And he says, which is more lies, it was in a safe. Baby cakes. Then he starts sending photos from the crime scene. Again, we're at like 10:30 p.m. on the 16th. We know that location is right there. You can see the piece of furniture, you can see the curtain, you can see the table. He has been going through the Ivancic's belongings for his own. Sends more photographs because he wants to brag about all this stuff he's got. Again, same location. Because I'm an idiot and decided to leave it home since I didn't think my cousin would rob me. She responds, I'm just glad my kids are okay and he didn't make off with your stuff. Let's stop there for a second. Look at that. It's going to play into one of the mitigators later. I'm just glad my kids are okay. From the robbery that never happened. This is what he does. This is what he does. He uses them. He talks about them like that. Like, he doesn't care about his kids there. He doesn't care about his kids any of the times that we're going to talk about that he talks about them. They're just another thing to try and gain sympathy from this woman. I'm just glad my kids are okay. And by the way, we recovered that laundry basket. You see it right there, and it had a lot of the same items in it. And other items you can see from the table. That was in his address in Ohio. And then he sends a photograph of that be my safe. Again, 10:30 p.m., roughly 10:32 p.m. on the 16th. That be my safe. It's bragging. We know where the safe is. It's right behind that door. It's not his safe. But there he is. He's in the crime scene, taking ownership of all the things, using his kids as a vehicle to gain sympathy. So we move on. Now, Detective Anderson told us close to 4 p.m. he was actually at a pawn shop selling some of the jewelry. I don't have any fun exhibits for you for that. But on the 17th at 6:02 p.m., he goes to McDonald's on US 19 in Newport Richey. And then on the 17th at 7:41 p.m., which is the top one, okay, I should be up in town this week, just so you know. So then, this is around midnight, just before midnight on the 17th, going into the 18th. And this is another, plays into some of the mitigators here, but I included the one on the 3rd just so you can see that conversation ended. So on the 18th, he, out of nowhere, says, holy F, you'll never believe what just happened. Tell me. Remember that useless dad of mine that died when I was 17? That's another thing that he brings up a lot for sympathy, by the way, is you'll be able to see through a lot of the evidence.
Objection, non-statutory aggravation.
Overruled.
Yeah. Sorry, that sounds a lot more harsh than I really meant it. I meant a lot of effed up stuff this year and got a little colder toward certain stuff that used to hurt my feelings. Anyways, I inherited $25,000. And she goes, well, no, I wasn't trying to be rude or anything. And she says, how? He stored a lot of his stuff, and I'm editing out the bad words, at his friend's house. His friend found out I was in Texas. He's not in Texas. He's in Florida. Took me to the shed my father built. And OMG, dude, $25,000 in a briefcase, rings upon rings that are thousands of dollars, a coin collection that can't even be fit in a whole picture. He kept it all this time for me. No effing way. Well, to be honest, he had no idea about the money. 'Twas in an envelope in all these coins. He then sends a video. We've seen the video. He's flashing money, he's flashing coins. We see where his head's at. Do you care about the kids? No. Yeah, well, my dad was a criminal genius. There's no way he just earned all this. She's in awe. Who are you telling, LOL? I'm completely okay with how 2018 turned out. He's sitting in the kitchen of a house where there are 3 rotting bodies that he bashed in the head with a hammer. But he is completely okay with how 2018 turned out. And then we see it again. She's being nice, dude, super happy for you, you deserve this. Thank you. I'm just thankful for my kids. A year's rent paid in full will barely dent me. Anyway, you can see a screenshot from the video right there on the left, and then you see the envelope that we recovered from the Kia on the right. You can tell it's the same envelope, just with additional writing on it. And then we are at Walmart. 10:30, around, it's actually a decent amount of time that he's there, but 10:31 a.m. he's at Walmart. Wearing a different shirt. The other one's probably being washed now. Clearly him, clearly his kids. We see him buying the spray paint and the masks, as it smells. Now, again, we're going to talk about the mitigators later, but one of the mitigators this will play to smells bad enough, the chemicals are bad enough that he knows by this is now day 2 or 3. He needs masks. He's going to be there many days later. You think the kids are wearing masks? He also buys it's not in this screenshot, but he buys the new Punisher shirt that he's going to be wearing in later videos. So he goes to McDonald's, 11:36 a.m. on US 19. It's actually right next to that Walmart in Port Richey. Chicken nuggets for the kids. And there we see him, and we now know that he has been using the 2013 Kia. And you can't see that at all on that screen, but I submit to you, you can look at the photographs and evidence. It is clearly this defendant, Shelby Nealy. Then we got to go to Home Depot. There's where we found the receipt. There is the receipt. There's the items on the receipt. 18th at 12:27 p.m. Based on the timing, probably had to go there just about right after McDonald's. There he is. I got that one for you because you can see his shoes. You can see that the tops of his shoes are blue on the 18th. Keep that in mind. There he is. He goes in, he leaves, and comes right back in, and then he goes shopping, and then he checks out, and we see him getting the rope, and you can see in the cart there, he's getting the canvas cloths, because that's all part of his plan. Remember, what he did with his wife was bury her in trash bags in the backyard. The plan is to mess up this house just like the wife and bury them in, there is no backyard, in the front yard. But now he has graduated from the trash bags, maybe because he realized that that wasn't going to work with this group, but he's graduated to the canvas materials. He even told us that. And the rope. Again, you see the rope at the bottom of the floor of that bottom right photograph. And there's the canvas from that empty package there, and canvas, top of the body. Around this time, he's got to be digging the hole. Because then we get to the 18th, 3:23 p.m. I submit to you that about now he's realizing the plan needs to change. So Noah Mather says, what's up? The defendant says, want to take a road trip. Now this conversation you can see actually goes on over the course of a couple of days because he doesn't respond very quickly. So Noah Mather says, where to? Bro, what's up? Defendant responds a while later, I'm thinking to Clearwater, Florida. Keep in mind, he's not told anybody he's in Clearwater. That's not come up, or in Tarpon Springs, in this area of the world. But now he's thinking of a trip to Clearwater, Florida. So Noah Mather naturally inquires further. When are you thinking? Like February. When? Like days. The day of love. Valentine's Day. Why? This is the plan. The plan is now shifted. He's realizing, and by that last message is the 20th, he's now realizing, I'm not going to be able to get these bodies in this hole. Maybe because the ladies that live around there have been asking too many questions, maybe too many people have seen him, or just because Richard is that heavy and he is that lazy. But he's realizing he's got to come back. He's making arrangements, he's planning, now I got to come back. Why? He's got to continue to execute the plan that he had originally, which is to bury the bodies. That worked with Jamie. We go on. '18th, 4:01 p.m. and conversation starts a little bit before that. So 18th, so this would be 3:35 p.m. He's talking, hey, would you guys want to come down with me and take a trip to Colorado if I paid everything? Food, hotel. That's a lot of money. Would love to. If I flew you two down here where I'm at, would you guys drive with me there? What's the drive from where you're at? A day, 4-hour stop? Okay, that's a long road trip. I got a Kia, though. So 4:01 p.m., there it is. I got a Kia, though. My Kia. I bash you in the head, I get to keep the Kia. Been planning on it since even before then, as the messages indicate. And then he sends her a picture of the Kia in the crime scene here in Tarpon Springs. That's yours? Yes. That's awesome, man. We move on. Now we're at about 10:34 p.m. on the 18th. Again, now he's setting up his return to Ohio. You know any landlord people? Yeah, I do. Yeah, know about tenants. How are you and your kids doing? You moving back? He says, yes, I'll be there Friday, actually. Permanently? Yes, ma'am. You can have me whenever you want me now. Okay, good to know. How's your kids doing? They're great. They have a conversation about that. What kind of rent he can pay? He says, $900 a month. And my journey down here is at a close. I got what I needed. Now I'm needed up in Ohio. Again, we're seeing the aftermath of the plan. This was the reason it came down. I got what I needed, which was all these people dead. They're not going to talk anymore, and I have all their belongings. I got a lot of money. Now my journeys are closed. Going to Ohio. Let's not forget Mom. On the 19th at 9 a.m., he sends a photo of the Kia in the crime scene, same photo. Oh, is it yours? Yes, 2013 Kia. Great. Got to say, every time I felt like your son, it's when I'm driving that car. So, geez, happy for him. But out of the blue there, he's just like, look at me. I got a new car. 19th, or I'm sorry, 20th, 11:33 p.m., he's eating at Dunkin' Donuts. We got this receipt from the 2013 Kia. Dunkin' Donuts and Holiday. All right, so here on the 20th at 12:46 p.m., he posts on Facebook for everyone to see a photo of his daughter with the pink hippo in the crime scene, on the couch, with blood on it, and the spray paint. So we know by this time he's already been working. He's already been covering up all the blood spatter over there. Not very well, but we see the drip. You see it on the far left right there. and we see it on the couch in the crime scene. We see the pink hippo. And then we have McDonald's on December 21st, 1:02 p.m. He's eating again. We're almost ready to follow this guy out of town. But on the 21st, he's at Walmart again, this time in Hudson, with the new shirt that I think he will remain in until he leaves Florida. And notice too here, there's no kids with him. He's by himself. Also, and there's a photo from the Home Depot picture. You can see the difference in his shoes. Blue shoes at Home Depot, and there's a lot of other places on the Home Depot video you can see it. But he's been busy with the paint, with the chemicals and everything, because that's all part of his plan. But let's not forget, in the meantime, he's got to be texting the relatives, make sure that they're not onto him, because that was also part of his plan with Jamie. It worked so well then. He is carrying out his plan with Laura. We are fine. The talking part of my phone is broke, and we are in Texas visiting Jamie and Shelby and my precious grandbabies. Laura's dead. 21st, he has Domino's Pizza. That's at 5:54 p.m. He uses his phone number this time, same phone number that we will see up in Ohio. And then on the 22nd at McDonald's, he's there 8:21 p.m. Maybe the kids didn't like the Domino's, but we see him driving that Kia again. And then the next day, we're heading out of town. 23rd at 2:31 p.m. County Road 54, Newport Richey. Got to get those chicken nuggets. There he is, Laura Ivancic's 2013 Kia vehicle. And then again, we pick him up in Macon, Georgia, I believe 9:30, thereabouts, that evening. Same vehicle, same clothing, same guy. Now he's going to Ohio. In the meantime, so 26th, we have him connected to that house, 1573 Newman Avenue in Lakewood, Ohio. He is telling his friend, Miriam Al-Nasseri, look at my new house. You can see the address. It's my house. Bathroom is fixed up. When I was in Texas getting robbed by my blood. He's still going with that robbery story, but he's claiming it was in Texas because that's where his family from that side is. Again, it's all part of the plan. He doesn't want people to know he was here. He knew that all along going in. There was never oh, hi, I'm going to be in Florida. I'm a criminal genius, my dear. There's nothing I can't do anymore. And then she's tell me how you got the place, how you got the money. I have to tell you in person. But let's not forget, he's got to throw off the relatives. I'm sorry, I just got this. My phone has been acting really weird. I can't even call or hear anything on the phone. Is everything okay? I'm so sorry. I just got this. My phone has been acting really weird. It's a conversation with two different people. I can't even call or hear her on the phone. But no, we are going to be in Texas for a while with Jamie. We are currently dealing with a family emergency with her. And I didn't give you the rest of the text. But you can see he's already trying to give excuses as to where they are, why they wouldn't be at home. Because remember, his plan at this point is still to come back and bury the bodies. We are in the process of talking to the police and trying to find Shelby. His vehicle was found abandoned on the side of the road. We know everybody is worried, but we have a lot going on. Trying to give himself some cover in case people see him in Ohio. Also, if I get time to, I will. I think the message was, please call. I'm currently dealing with a family emergency with Jamie in Texas. Jamie's been dead for a year, almost.